Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for May 23rd, 2025. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I very much appreciate your viewership and support. If you're watching live, let me know in the chat room what you liked, what you didn't like about the show. Leave your thoughts, and I will post some of the comments up on the screen. We kicked off SmackDown on the eve of Saturday night's main event with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest brawling backstage. They have a cage match at Saturday night's main event. That is Saturday night. We had the women's champion, Tiffany Stratton, come into the ring for a promo. She talked about her accomplishments, including her victory over Nia Jax, and she warned the Money in the Bank winner to not go after her. Alexa Bliss interrupted. She introduced herself to Tiffany, and then, of course, Charlotte Flair came out there. She humbly congratulated Tiffany for winning at WrestleMania, said she's done everything now except win Money in the Bank. She said she's going to take the title and her spotlight back. Tiffany responded by saying both Charlotte and Alexa are vintage. They were standard, and now Tiffany, is the upgrade. Decent segment here to start off the show, and Giulia came out there. Zelina Vega came out there. We had a triple threat for another Money in the Bank spot. Giulia got in plenty of offense during this, although there were times where she was not getting much of a reaction. It's going to happen when you're a newcomer. I think fans will get into her over time. Zelina took out both of them with a DDT at the same time and then did a moonsault to the outside onto both of them. And then after the break, Charlotte got the upper hand. She did a double moonsault, but both women kicked out. Giulia was hit with a spear, but she kicked out. Charlotte put on the figure four, but Zelina broke that up. And then Zelina hit the code red to Giulia, but that was broken up. Crowd was loving this. They were chanting, "This is awesome." Charlotte put on the figure eight to Zelina, but then Giulia stomped Charlotte, and then Giulia hit the Northern Lights bomb and pinned Zelina to get the 1-2-3 victory. Giulia officially advances to Money in the Bank. I liked the match. I think Giulia winning is definitely the right move. You want to put your up-and-comers in the Money in the Bank ladder match. The only thing that I thought was strange about this match was the fact that Zelina was in it and they had her take the fall. They were starting to do pretty good with Zelina, having her win matches, and then she loses this one. I guess Giulia could always go for the mid-card women's title at some point. But yeah, I think they should have put somebody in there besides Zelina. Otherwise, good match. Backstage, Zelina was mocked by Chelsea Green for losing. Zelina attacked Chelsea, but she was outnumbered 3-1. And then Nick Aldis came in after Meechin and B-Fab made the save, and a tag team match was set up for later. And they did announce that Zelina Vega will defend her women's championship against Chelsea Green at Saturday night's main event. We now have 5 matches for the 2-hour show. I'm guessing John Cena and R-Truth will be short. More on R-Truth, by the way, in just a little bit. We had a DIY backstage promo on the Motor City Machine Guns, and that set up Chris Sabin versus Tommaso Ciampa. We had a good match here between these two. Not too bad. Ciampa threw the jacket at Chris Sabin to gain the advantage, and then Ciampa hit the air raid crash on the apron. Chris Sabin was able to counter out of the fairy tale ending, and then he hit a tornado DDT, but Ciampa was able to kick out of that. And then we had the outside interference. We had Alex Shelley showing up to even the odds, but then he got knocked off the apron by Ciampa, and then Sabin, he was on the verge of winning. Ciampa was selling his knee, and then all of a sudden we had Candice LeRae show up. She attacked Chris Sabin when the referee wasn't looking, and Ciampa won with the knee strike. I'm fine with this. You had Candice LeRae officially being part of the group. Are they going to be the way again? I'm not really sure, but she is the third person in the group. I'm fine with that. At least we got something here. Generally, when they do these 1-versus-1 matches, I really don't feel like it's advancing much in the storyline, but we got Candice there. I think it's the right call. Get her with DIY. I'm all for it. By the way, shout out to Freddie D. I do shave my head now. It's time to shave it. It's been like 2 weeks. So yeah, I have to do it. I do it on a regular basis. So just throwing that out there. We had a John Cena video package recapping his heel work over the past several months. Then we had my favorite segment, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre brawling to the ring. We did, in fact, get another pull-apart brawl, the most overdone segment in wrestling. And Priest got on the mic, said he's going to get his pound of flesh at Saturday night's main event in the cage match. And then he broke through security because, well, that's what they always do in these pull-apart brawls. I mean, the match will be good, but the let them fight segments, I'm so over them. Backstage, Jacob Fatu told Solo Sikoa that he does not trust JC Mateo. He doesn't like what Solo Sikoa is doing. He said that JC is damn sure not family, but Solo wanted to make it clear that they need to work together and they need to be family. Backstage, Alexa Bliss talked about how it was important to have friends. Charlotte thought Alexa was talking to her, but Alexa was actually talking to Lily the doll. We had a segment, Legado del Fantasma, at somebody's house. And the gist of this was that Santos wanted them to come together. And he set up a trios match for the Worlds Collide pay-per-view. The three of them against three guys from AAA. I'm not really sure who they are. I think Psycho Clown is the name of one of them. So we're getting a 6-man match, WWE versus AAA at Worlds Collide. And Humberto really wasn't feeling this. He took a sip of the wine and then walked off. I suppose this could be some sort of an angle where they don't get along and then the AAA guys win. We'll see what happens. I don't really care about it that much, but, you know, they got to get some interest in it, get some WWE guys on the show. Not really much buildup for this Worlds Collide event. Maybe if they add Dominic to it or add El Grande Americano, I'll be more into it. But as of now, it's just a little wrestling show they're doing on Saturday. I'll watch for the novelty of it. We had Fraxiom and Street Profits cutting promos, and then Solo's crew walked past them, maybe a little tease for the future, although there could be some other things that Fraxiom and Street Profits have to deal with. More on that later. We had Jacob Fatu teaming up with JC Mateo, and they went up against Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso. Kind of cool. Rey Fenix and Jimmy Uso one halves of two great tag teams working together. And we had the Can They Coexist storyline where JC would tag himself in, and then Jacob Fatu would tag himself in. They weren't getting along too well, but Rey Fenix and Jimmy were doing well. Now, as the match progressed, Solo was trying to get Jimmy to join up with them again. He was trying to talk some sense into him. Solo's team had the upper hand for a while. Then Rey Fenix came in, did some cool stuff, did the Poison Rana to Jacob Fatu, but could not finish him off. Then Jimmy and JC tagged back in. Fatu was able to send Fenix over the announce desk. Jimmy hit a bunch of super kicks, went up top for the big splash, but Solo got on the apron, and that slight hesitation allowed JC to avoid the super splash, the Uso splash, and then JC picked up the 1-2-3 victory with the power slam. Pretty much what I expected here. It was a good match, but figured the bad guys were going to win this one, continue to build up JC Mateo. Jimmy took the fall here, and we continue whatever this storyline is with the new bloodline or whatever they're called at this point. We had an LA Knight promo hyping up his Money in the Bank qualifying match. And then we had R-Truth come into the ring for a promo. This was an interesting promo. Like, I thought R-Truth did a good job, but the problem with this is he tried to do a serious promo, and this is a guy that's been the opening match comedy act for so long now, and the crowd really wasn't sure what to make of it, and it got to the point where they were chanting "what" at R-Truth. But I think he did about as well as he could have. It's just that his character has been booked like a joke for so long that you really don't take him seriously at this point. You know, he's talking about how John Cena got disconnected and it became more about his ego. And he said he's going to save John Cena by beating the hustle, loyalty, and respect back into him. And then he said, if Cena wins, we riot. Yeah, I know the match is going to basically be a squash. But yeah, I feel like if this was a 2-hour SmackDown, we would not be having this R-Truth promo. I mean, really, we shouldn't be having the match to begin with. I think we could have just gotten John Cena beats the shit out of R-Truth, sends him to the hospital, and then the next challenger comes along to fight on R-Truth's behalf. I really don't think we needed this match in the first place. I do not think this is going to happen. Building Next has sent in a $2 super chat. I do appreciate that. Says, do you think Cody comes back and costs Cena the match? No, I think Cena wins the match, and then maybe Cody Rhodes returns and beats up John Cena. But I think John Cena will make short work of him and then continue the attack afterwards. And that's when Cody makes the save. There's absolutely no good reason for John Cena to take a loss to R-Truth. I think that's a bad idea. I think he beats him and then continues the assault, and it's very violent, and that's when Cody runs out there and makes the save in his big grand return to WWE. We had LA Knight versus Aleister Black versus Shinsuke Nakamura in another Money in the Bank qualifier. I thought it was a solid match. Everybody was getting in some offense. You know how this one's going, though. Shinsuke's in there, which means he's almost certainly going to be the one that takes the fall. Match was fine, though. Everybody got their moments. And then LA Knight came off the top. There were a few moments where Aleister Black, I thought, was going to hurt himself. He did this moonsault to the outside, and I feel like neither guy really caught him, and he just crashed and burned on the mat. Then he got up, went back in the ring, and did another dive over the top, and again looked like he took a pretty nasty fall and his dive wasn't really caught. And then he hit the Black Mass to Nakamura, but then LA Knight threw him out of the ring and essentially stole the pin. And LA Knight now officially goes on to Money in the Bank. So they managed to keep Aleister Black strong. He lost the match, but obviously did not take the fall. And it was his move that took out Nakamura. LA Knight advances. I think that's the right call. LA Knight should be in it. You know, he's still got his fan base, and he's the most over of the three. Aleister Black's getting reestablished. Nakamura's dead in the water. So yeah, right call here. Yeah, LA Knight advances to Money in the Bank. And then we had a little backstage segment. So next week, Carmelo is going to be in another qualifier, and The Miz revealed that he gave up an opportunity so Carmelo could be in it. He believes in Carmelo, and he said that Carmelo will execute his plan. Then it was confirmed by Nick Aldis that Jacob Fatu will be in that qualifier, in addition to Solo Sikoa. Solo and Jacob will both be in the same qualifying match. Things could go south there with those guys. We'll see what happens. I expect some kind of shenanigans for that. We had a Bianca Belair video package, and she talked about how the last several months have been challenging and difficult for her, losing her friends, losing at WrestleMania for the first time. But she said she will get through it, and the best is yet to come. And they did confirm that she will return next week in her hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee. There's another triple threat, Nia Jax versus Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Wouldn't shock me if Bianca interferes in that. We'll see what happens. That's on next week's show. We then had our main event of the evening, the Street Profits going up against Fraxiom. New music for Fraxiom, by the way. It sucks. The old music wasn't great or anything. It was pretty generic, actually, but I think this is even worse. It sounds like you did the prompt on one of those AI music sites where you can make your own songs, and the AI just generated this little song with lyrics. That's what it sounded like. It legit sounds like it was made with AI. Terrible. Really bad. Fraxiom looked pretty good in this match. They did the dive train, but then the Street Profits were able to slow the pace down for a while. We had like 2 commercial breaks on this, and I'm thinking, I really hope they don't do a DQ or something. You know, we're watching this long-ass match. There better be a good payoff. So Fraxiom did eventually make their comeback, and it was back and forth. They almost got the win, but then Frazer was sent into the steel steps. Profits did their blockbuster combo, the electric chair blockbuster, but then Frazer broke up the pin. Then they did their Fraxiom did their Spanish Fly Phoenix Splash combo. However, Ford broke that up. Then we had the shenanigans. We had DIY running down. Motor City Machine Guns attacked them. Ford decided to wipe them all out with a dive over the corner. And then Ford was on the verge of perhaps winning with the frog splash. But then we had the return. The Wyatt Sicks came in, and it was, in fact, I guess, a disqualification or a double DQ, or match was just a no contest. Basically, Wyatt Sicks attacked everybody, attacked all the tag teams. The crowd loved this, though. So they were red hot for this. They popped big for the Wyatt Sicks. They were chanting "holy shit," which kept getting censored. That's always annoying. But yeah, the crowd was very happy. And they had a birthday cake for Bray Wyatt. Today, May 23rd, is Bray Wyatt's birthday. So it was kind of cool to have the birthday cake there and pay tribute to Bray Wyatt. Say what you will, the Wyatt Sicks have been gone for a while and they haven't really done much, but the crowd still loves them. And they do have cool music, so that puts them above a lot of the acts in WWE. I wasn't happy with the DQ, but Wyatt Sicks returning, I thought was a nice ending to the show. And they got out of having Fraxiom lose and Street Profits retain. The other teams are still in the mix. Now the Wyatts are in the mix. So I did think it was a good ending despite the double DQ. All in all, other than the end with the Wyatt Sicks returning, like, I don't feel like this was a very noteworthy episode of SmackDown at all. The wrestling was good, but it's a lot of, qualifying matches and not much storyline advancement. We got a little bit with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, but another show where I felt like the lack of star power hurt it. And, of course, the 3 hours. No John Cena, but he'll be back next week. Cody Rhodes is absent, but he should be back in the near future. No Randy Orton again. I'm wondering what the hell is up with him and Nick Aldis. There's been no follow-up on that. I like the ending. Besides the Wyatts returning, if the Wyatts didn't show up, I was thinking, probably a 5. It was middle of the run, average show. Wyatt Sicks coming back. I'll bump it a little bit. So I'm going 6 out of 10. Overall, good show, but I did feel like there was quite a bit of filler and just not a lot of interesting things happening besides just good wrestling. And I want some soap opera stuff. I want some drama. I want to feel like I invested my time well. But yeah, it was a good show overall. 6 out of 10. Saturday night's main event should be a fun show. We got 5 matches. I expected to move at a very fast pace. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, how big of a problem are these bad theme songs? I mean, I think it's more significant than WWE or a lot of people would like to admit. I mean, put it this way. Wyatt Sicks, look how over they are, and they haven't really done much of anything, and they've been gone. But they have a badass theme song. Crowd loves them for that. Sometimes a good song can make your career. I mean, look at Bobby Roode. And I know people like Bobby Roode, but I always thought he was kind of vanilla. He was a good wrestler, but average at best charisma, average promo skills. But his music was really cool. That Glorious song, I was excited to see Bobby Roode on the show just because of the music. So I think music can definitely make a big difference. And look at the Street Profits right now. I think Matthew makes a great point here. Look at the Street Profits. When they come out, like, as over as they've been, they're great. They're the Street Profits. They barely get a reaction now, despite the fact that it's the Street Profits. I mean, that's how bad their entrance music is. It's really a huge downgrade from their old music. Their old music was hype. You hear that and you're excited when they come out. Everybody's dancing in the crowd. They got the solo cups. Like, it was a vibe. This new music sucks. It's just, again, sounds like something that you run through an AI program. Doesn't really feel authentic at all. So yeah, that's my take on that. I definitely think theme music is a factor in if an act gets over or not. It's not just the wrestling, it's the whole package. It's the entrance, it's the theme music, it's your attire, it's your move set. There's so many things that I think makes a great wrestler. It's not just any one thing. Oh, they're a good wrestler or they have good music. You got to have all the attributes. You put that all together to make a great superstar. That's my take on that. And unfortunately, oh boy, we're going to have to hear that Travis Scott theme in the very near future, and I'm not excited for that. But thank you guys for watching. It's going to be a busy weekend, and I do want to announce we got new content for the No DQ channel. I forgot to mention on Tuesday that No DQ review is being bumped until next Thursday. But before I get to that, shout out to Michael who sent in a $2 super chat. He says, can't wait to hear Travis Scott's Fiend theme. LOL. You son of a bitch. I'm sure you're very excited for that one, but to even make me mention Travis Scott by name again, damn you, Michael, damn you. All right, so as I was mentioning, Thursday will be the No DQ review. Tuesday, I am premiering not one, but 2 new shows on No DQ. The first show is No DQ Roundtable, which I believe we discussed on one of the streams. Members of the No DQ panel will be giving their thoughts on a specific topic that is introduced by a member of the panel. And then wrestling's hottest audacious takes. I will be giving my thoughts on the internet's boldest wrestling opinions. I've seen some interesting ones out there, and I will be commenting, giving my thoughts. Do I agree or disagree with these audacious takes? Both of these new shows will debut Tuesday, May 17th, and then Thursday, we will have the No DQ review. Check out that on the No DQ channel. Please spread the word. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And stay tuned for weekend coverage. We got Saturday night's main event and AEW Double or Nothing this weekend. Check it out. Say yes to NoDQ.com. And I will see you all next time.